After returning to Two Realm City, Xuan's sacrifice finally proves his loyalty, and An Lanxiu's trust in him is no longer in doubt. But peace does not last. The auction of the high-grade Earth-rank martial technique draws powerful forces from every side. And when a mysterious black-clothed expert attacks Drunken Immortal Tower, Xuan is pulled into an even greater danger. Guided by the mysterious woman inside the World Prison Tower, he follows the trail of a Dao rule and discovers that the black-clothed thief is far more dangerous than he imagined. Now, trapped between Drunken Immortal Tower, Ning Kingdom, and a wounded woman he cannot defeat, Xuan must rely on his courage, his sword, and his will to survive. Now let us follow the next developments in The First Sword God, Episode 13. Seeing this, the old man in the corner looked extremely unhappy. More accurately, his expression had turned gloomy. Since when had his young miss become so intimate with a young man? At that moment, not far from the woman in white and Xuan, three figures were rushing over at high speed. The one in front was Beichen. Behind her were a man and a woman. An Lanxiu glanced at the three of them. Then she gently handed Xuan over to the ninth princess and turned to look in another direction. At that moment, the old man who had been sitting in the corner appeared before her. "Young miss," he said, "I have already investigated it. Some people above have not followed the rules of the game," and Lanxiu nodded lightly, "I know." After saying this, she slowly walked toward Beichen and the other two. The old man hesitated for a moment, as if he wanted to say something, but in the end he remained silent, because he could sense it. His young miss seemed to be angry. When Beichen saw An Lanxiu, her expression instantly changed. The man and woman behind her did not know An Lanxiu, but Beichen recognized her. In all of Jiang Kingdom, who did not know An Lanxiu, Beichen's face was full of deep wariness. Many people did not know that An Lanxiu had once received an invitation from Cangmu Academy. Not only that, the invitation had been delivered personally by the head of Cangmu Academy. Yet An Lanxiu's answer had been simple. As long as someone from Cangmu Academy under the age of 30 could defeat her, she would join Cangmu Academy. At that time, two representatives of Cangmu Academy had fought An Lanxiu. One of them had been Beichen. And the result was that An Lanxiu had not joined Cangmu Academy. Seeing An Lanxiu now, Beichen knew the high-grade Earth-rank martial technique was no longer a small matter. Beichen already had the thought of retreating. But at that moment, An Lanxiu suddenly disappeared. Beichen's expression changed. Her hands formed a square seal and then she pressed down lightly. Limitless wind defense. As soon as her voice fell, wind suddenly rose around her. In the blink of an eye, the fierce wind condensed into a tornado that wrapped around her entire body. At that same moment, a long spear appeared in An Lanxiu's hand. She kicked the shaft of the spear with her right foot. Boom. The long spear shot forward like lightning. Bang. In the distance, the tornado shattered apart. At the same time, a shadow flashed across the field. Thud. After a dull impact, a figure was blasted several dozen zhang away. That figure was Beichen. The moment Beichen stopped, the ground behind her immediately cracked. A line of crimson liquid flowed from the corner of her mouth. Seeing this, the man and woman not far away instantly changed expression. They understood Beichen's strength very well. Yet before this woman in white, Beichen had been defeated with a single move. Their gazes toward An Lanxiu became filled with curiosity and fear. An Lanxiu did not stop. After forcing Beichen back with one attack, her figure flashed and disappeared again. In the next instant, a silver spear appeared before Beichen. The spear thrust out like a dragon, carrying a tyrannical and matchless force. Beichen's pupils shrank slightly. The corner of her mouth curved into a savage expression. A moment later, her hands formed another seal. Beast Soul Seal. Boom. A powerful aura swept out from within Beichen's body. At the same time, the illusory figure of a beast appeared behind her. The moment this phantom appeared, an invisible pressure shook the entire field. Even the ground became chaotic beneath that pressure. The beast phantom roared furiously at An Lanxiu, then charged toward her spear. At that moment, the tip of the silver spear flashed with a cold gleam. The two forces collided. Boom. The beast phantom scattered instantly. Beichen, beneath it, was thrown several dozen zhang away. Elsewhere, when the man and woman saw Beichen defeated again, they no longer hesitated. They both rushed toward An Lanxiu. An Lanxiu did not even glance at them. She merely raised the spear in her right hand and swept it sideways. This sweep was casual and effortless, yet it seemed capable of sweeping everything away. Boom. Before the man and woman could even draw close, the force of that one spear forced them to retreat rapidly. An Lanxiu's figure flickered. In the blink of an eye, she appeared before Beichen. Bang. Before anyone could even see how An Lanxiu attacked, Beichen was sent flying several dozen zhang again. This time, the moment Beichen fell to the ground, An Lanxiu appeared before her like a ghost and kicked her in the abdomen. Boom. Beichen's body bent as she was sent sliding across the ground for several dozen more zhang. Only after smashing into a large rock did she finally stop. An Lanxiu was about to continue, but an old man with white hair suddenly appeared before her. It was Mo Song, one of the 3 vice heads of Cangmu Academy, and Lanxiu did not stop. She raised her spear and brought it down. Mo Song closed his eyes and waved his sleeve. A powerful aura swept out. Boom. In an instant, that aura was shattered. Mo Song was forced back several steps, while An Lanxiu remained standing where she was without moving. Seeing this, Mo Song was deeply shocked. An Lanxiu was about to attack again when Mo Song hurriedly said, "National scholar An, Cangmu Academy was not the one who injured him. It was Marquis Wu Yunshan of Ning Kingdom." An Lanxiu stopped. Mo Song pointed toward the man and woman not far away. Those 2 are also from Ning Kingdom. An Lanxiu turned to look at them. Both of their expressions changed. Clearly, at this moment, they too had recognized An Lanxiu's identity. An Lanxiu, the proud daughter of Jiang Kingdom. An Lanxiu looked at the 2 of them, and her right hand slowly tightened around her spear. At that moment, a weak voice sounded from behind her, "Miss An." An Lanxiu immediately turned and walked to the 9th princess. Xuan had woken up, but he was extremely weak. He grinned and said, "Stop fighting," and Lanxiu was silent. Xuan smiled, "I suffered a big loss today. Later I will get it back myself." He did not want to rely on An Lanxiu. That would only make him feel like a pretty boy living under someone else's protection, and he did not like that feeling at all. An Lanxiu glanced at Xuan and nodded, "All right." Seeing this, Mo Song, who stood not far away, let out a breath of relief. If An Lanxiu refused to let the matter go, he truly would not know what to do. The man and woman on the other side also visibly relaxed. Clearly, they did not want to fight An Lanxiu either. Mo Song glanced at Xuan, then turned and left with Beichen. The man and woman did not dare stay any longer either. They quickly turned and left. Xuan still wanted to say something, but the 9th princess suddenly spoke. "Stop wasting words. Do you think you have not bled enough?" An Lanxiu was about to move closer to Xuan when old Ling suddenly walked to her side. "Young miss," he said, "do you truly want him to die?" At old Ling's words, both the 9th princess and Xuan looked at him. An Lanxiu looked toward old Ling. Old Ling smiled bitterly. "Young miss, you are the most outstanding person our clan has produced in 1,000 years. There are countless forces and sects that wish to form a marriage alliance with our clan. If they learn that you are so close to this young man, what do you think they will do? Those people do not dare attack you, but I can guarantee that one day, this boy may quietly disappear from the world without anyone knowing. Those people truly are capable of doing such things." He paused for a moment, then continued. "And there is the clan lord as well. Young miss, you know very well what expectations he has for you. You may like someone, but that person cannot be an ordinary person. Yes, this Xuan is indeed not bad, whether in talent or in other aspects. But he does not have the qualifications to stand beside you, unless he can become a sword emperor or sword lord before the age of 30. But that is fundamentally impossible. Young miss, the closer you get to him, the faster he will die. Surely you understand this clearly in your heart." His voice was not loud, but it was not quiet either. The 9th princess and Xuan both heard every word. Clearly, he had intentionally spoken for Xuan to hear, and Lanxiu remained silent. Old Ling said in a deep voice, "Young miss, you truly cannot get close to him. You and he belong to 2 different worlds. Right now, he is not qualified to enter your world. An Lanxiu ignored old Ling and looked at Xuan. What do you think? Xuan asked in return, do you consider me your friend? An Lanxiu nodded. Xuan grinned, then leave the rest to me. Hearing this, An Lanxiu smiled. Xuan froze when he saw that smile. An Lanxiu walked to him, took out a white silk handkerchief, and gently wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth. Then she said softly, when we meet again in the future, I hope you will still be that free-spirited young man. After saying this, she put away the handkerchief and left. Can I come find you another day? Xuan suddenly asked, and Lanxiu stopped. Central Divine Continent, I will wait for you there. After saying this, she walked away and soon disappeared into the distance. Old Ling looked deeply at Xuan and asked, what would you find my young miss for? Xuan grinned. To discuss life and talk about ideals, Old Ling's face turned livid. He gave Xuan a cold glance, do not humiliate yourself. With that, he hurriedly turned and followed An Lanxiu. Xuan continued staring into the distance. Even after An Lanxiu's figure had completely vanished, he still did not look away. At this moment, the ninth princess beside him said, what are you still looking at? She is gone. Xuan withdrew his gaze and lightly moved his body. The movement seemed to tug at his wounds, and he sucked in a sharp breath from the pain. The ninth princess glanced at him, oh, so you do no pain. Xuan put one arm around the ninth princess's shoulder and leaned his entire body against her. The ninth princess frowned and was about to push him away. But when she saw the wound on his chest, she froze. Xuan had received that injury while saving her. Even now, the wound still occasionally seeped fresh blood. Xuan inhaled deeply. Big sister, can you help me find a doctor a little faster? The ninth princess came back to herself and said coldly, Doctor. I saw how you looked at little and just now. You seem to forget completely that you were injured. So looking at a beautiful woman can heal wounds after all. Although she said this, she still slowly supported Xuan and walked into the city. My waist hurts. My legs hurt too. Can you carry me? No, I really cannot walk anymore. Do you believe I will beat you to death? Cough. Actually, I can still walk 2 steps. With the ninth princess supporting him, Xuan entered Two Realms City. The soldiers in the city quickly surrounded him, but when they saw the ninth princess supporting him, they were all stunned. Although the ninth princess was straightforward and unrestrained in the military camp, she had never been so intimate with any man. The ninth princess swept her gaze over the soldiers. What are you looking at? Do you not know how to get lost? Hearing this, the soldiers scattered like startled birds. At this moment, Xuan's entire body had already gone numb. This time he was truly exhausted. He could no longer hold on. The ninth princess shook her head lightly, then simply lifted him up and carried him into her own tent. The furnishings inside the tent were extremely simple. There was only one bed, one table, and one sand table. Aside from these, there was nothing else. The ninth princess placed Xuan on her bed and ordered, call little Yi here. Before long, a woman in a green dress walked in carrying a medicine chest. This person was the ninth princess's personal physician. The ninth princess stepped aside, looked at Xuan and said in a deep voice, heal him. Do not worry about what medicine must be used. The woman in green, little Yi, nodded lightly and walked to Xuan's side. She gently placed her jade-like fingers on his pulse. Then she frowned. He is very badly injured. Hearing this, the ninth princess frowned. Save him. Little Yi nodded lightly. Your Highness, do not worry. Although his injuries are severe, his life is not in danger. He only needs proper care. However, this recuperation may require many precious medicinal materials, and... The ninth princess said coldly, the old man rewarded me with quite a few things. Take them all out and use them on him. Little Yi glanced at the ninth princess. There is not much left. Those were all prepared for your highness to use in critical moments. Use them on him. The ninth princess spoke decisively. Little Yi said nothing more and only nodded. The ninth princess glanced at Xuan on the bed, then walked out of the tent. Outside, she opened her hand. The high-grade earth-rank martial technique appeared in her palm. In truth, the reason this martial technique was so precious was that the scroll itself had been preserved with a special method. Put simply, it could not be copied. It was the only original. If it were auctioned, countless forces would fight over it. Yet that young man had casually returned it to her as if throwing away trash. And now, of course, she understood Xuan's true purpose in taking the high-grade earth-rank martial technique from her in the bamboo room. He had wanted to lure the pursuers away alone. He had not wanted to keep it for himself. She had indeed wronged him. The ninth princess turned and looked into the tent at Xuan. Her gaze was rather complicated. No one knew how much time passed before Xuan slowly opened his eyes. At first he was dazed. Then he suddenly sat up and realized he was inside a tent. He shook his head. Before long, he remembered everything that had happened before he fainted. A moment later, he lowered his head and looked at his body. At this moment, his wounds had already been carefully bandaged. As if thinking of something, he opened his palm. A sword immediately appeared in his hand. Ling Xiao and Ling Yu had fused together. The two swords had already merged into one. Now this sword was no longer a spirit sword. It had reached the level of a bright sword. Unfortunately, he could not devour this bright sword. Otherwise, he might very well be able to reach the Skysword realm. However, even though he had not reached the Skysword realm, he had obtained a bright sword. Swords were divided into several grades: ordinary sword, spirit sword, bright sword, true sword, heavenly sword, Tao sword, and immortal sword. A spirit sword possessed a trace of spiritual energy, meaning it had already broken away from ordinary worldly weapons. A bright sword meant that a spirit sword had developed a trace of spiritual intelligence. If a spirit sword was like an unborn infant in a haze, then a bright sword was like a child already born. There was a great difference in essence, right now. Although Xuan was only in the Imperial Kai realm. With this bright sword in hand, even if he had to face a Skysword realm expert, he would not feel much pressure. Xuan stopped thinking too much. He looked at the sword in his hand. One side of the sword was blue, while the other side was black. After thinking for a moment, he said, "From now on, I will call you Liangxiu's sword." Lion from Lion and Zhu from An Lanxiu. At this point, he began to chuckle. Clearly, he was very satisfied with the name. At that moment, the ninth princess walked in carrying two large bowls. Xuan hurriedly put the sword away and looked toward her. At this time, she had changed back into her silver soft armor. It was extremely attractive. The ninth princess sat across from Xuan and handed him one of the large bowls. Xuan took it. It was a bowl of fragrant braised meat, with white rice beneath the layer of meat. The ninth princess said coldly, "The military camp is not very comfortable. Make do with it." After saying this, she opened her mouth and began eating without any restraint. Xuan was also hungry, so he raised the bowl and ate with her. A while later, the ninth princess stood and said, "Tonight, come with me to Drunken Immortal Tower." To Drunken Immortal Tower, Xuan was puzzled. The ninth princess said coldly, "You were unconscious for 3 days. 3 days ago, I placed that earth-rank martial technique with Drunken Immortal Tower for them to auction. They have been promoting it for 3 days. Tonight it will be sold." Xuan nodded lightly, "All right." The ninth princess glanced at him. "You have no other thoughts?" Xuan froze. "What thoughts?" The ninth princess looked straight at him. "That earth-rank martial technique was something you obtained with your life. It could be said to belong to you. Now I am taking it to auction. Are you not uncomfortable in your heart?" So that was what she meant. Xuan smiled. "Why would I feel uncomfortable?" The ninth princess stared at Xuan, silent. Xuan thought for a moment, then added, "We are friends. Is it not natural for friends to help one another?" The ninth princess looked at him for a very, very long time. In the end, she turned and left. As she turned, the golden saber at her waist suddenly fell in front of Xuan. Xuan froze for a moment. Then he subconsciously picked it up and offered it back to the ninth princess. The ninth princess turned and looked at him coldly. "You touched it. I do not want it anymore." After saying this, she turned and walked straight out of the tent. Xuan sat there stunned, wholly. Only after a long while did Xuan come back to himself. He looked at the golden saber in his hand. The moment he examined it, he froze. Because this golden saber was actually a spiritual weapon. And not just any spiritual weapon. It was a top-grade spiritual weapon, even better than the original Ling Xiao sword had been. Xuan hurriedly chased after her. In the blink of an eye, he caught up to the 9th princess. You. This golden saber of yours is top grade. Do you really not want it? The 9th princess turned back and looked at Xuan coldly. At last, I understand why you have remained single all these years. After saying this, she turned and quickly disappeared. Xuan PFFT. At that moment, laughter sounded behind him. He turned and saw a woman in a green dress. It was Little Yi, the one who had just treated his injuries. And you are? Xuan asked. When Little Yi had come to treat him earlier, he had been unconscious, so he did not know her. Little Yi smiled. During the time you were unconscious, I was the one who bandaged all your wounds. Hearing this, Xuan quickly cupped his fist. Thank you. Little Yi glanced at the golden saber in Xuan's hand. You want to return this saber to Her Highness? Xuan nodded. This saber is very precious, and she uses a saber. Without it, her strength may drop by a great deal. Little Yi suddenly covered her mouth and giggled. You truly are single by sheer strength. After saying this, she carried the medicine chest and turned away. Xuan. A moment later, Xuan returned to the tent, took out 2 high-grade spirit stones and began absorbing them. Although there were external medicines healing him, spiritual energy was still the best medicine for injuries. Just like this, after 2 hours, night gradually fell. The 9th princess came to Xuan's tent. No, more accurately, she returned to her own tent. At this time, the 9th princess was no longer wearing silver armor. Instead, she wore a fitted silver dress. The dress was very simple, almost without any unnecessary decoration, but it gave her another kind of charm. Her hair was tied behind her head with a white silk ribbon, making her heroic bearing even stronger. But the brightest thing about her was still her eyes. They were not large and round, but sharp as blades. They were a pair of eyes that no one could forget after seeing them once. The 9th princess flicked her finger and a brand new robe appeared before Xuan. Change your clothes, then we leave. After saying this, she walked out of the tent. A moment later, Xuan left the tent. The 9th princess, who was standing outside, froze slightly when she saw him. At this moment, Xuan was dressed in black brocade. His figure was already tall, and the black robe made him appear even straighter and more slender. His features were distinct, making him look extremely handsome, especially his eyes. Calm, firm, and paired with his long black hair. It had to be said that Xuan truly had the appearance of a graceful young lord. The 9th princess examined him for a moment, then nodded. You could clearly make a living from your looks, yet you insist on working so hard to cultivate. Truly, Xuan. The 9th princess turned and walked into the distance. Tonight, many great forces should have sent people here. I wonder how much it will sell for. Xuan followed beside her. Could something go wrong? The 9th princess said calmly, do not worry. This is Drunken Immortal Tower's territory. If anything happens, they will be responsible. But as long as it is not Cangmu Academy causing trouble, there usually will not be any problem. And Cangmu Academy certainly will not fall out with Drunken Immortal Tower over one high-grade Earth-rank martial technique. Xuan nodded lightly, then asked, earlier, when I walked around the military camp with you, I did not see that woman named Yu. Is she not in your army, Yu? Naturally, he still remembered that woman. The 9th princess pondered for a moment, then said, fine. You are not an outsider anyway. Not long after Yu parted from you, an old man came and took her away. She glanced at Xuan. Do not worry. For her, this is a tremendous blessing. Hearing this, Xuan nodded, that is good. At that moment, a man in black suddenly appeared beside the 9th princess. He was about to move closer, but she said coldly, speak directly. The man in black glanced at Xuan, then nodded. Your Highness, Tang Kingdom and Ning Kingdom have also sent people to participate in this auction. Hearing this, the 9th princess's expression turned cold, and her eyes became sharp as blades. A moment later, she looked at Xuan and laughed, prepare yourself. Tonight we are going to make a big move, Xuan. Xuan could not help but glance at the 9th princess. He had killed many people before. Back in King City, if he did not kill, others would kill him. But his intuition told him that compared with this 9th princess, those people he had killed were nothing at all. Of course, that made sense. After all, she was the commander of an army. When she killed, it was not just one or two people. It was entire groups of people. At that moment, as if thinking of something, the ninth princess suddenly shook her head. No. You cannot be dragged into this fight. After saying this, she walked toward the distance. Xuan followed. If you need help. The ninth princess interrupted him. Tang Kingdom, Ning Kingdom, and several other forces as well. They are targeting me. I have the army protecting me. I have the entire elite inner guard of Jiang Kingdom protecting me. But you do not, so you cannot participate. That is settled, Xuan. A while later, the ninth princess and Xuan arrived at Drunken Immortal Tower. Although all of Two Realms City was poor and worn down, Drunken Immortal Tower was still magnificent, grand, and filled with golden splendor. Standing in the middle of Two Realms City, it truly seemed out of place. The moment the two entered, a beautiful and refined woman came forward to greet them. She bowed to the ninth princess. Ninth princess, your private room has already been prepared. Please follow me. After saying this, she gestured respectfully and led the way. The ninth princess and Xuan followed behind her. Before long, they arrived at a luxurious private room. The room was decorated lavishly. A thick beast skin carpet covered the floor. In front was a crystal table, and behind the table was a transparent crystal wall. The woman bowed lightly to the ninth princess. Your Highness, the auction will officially begin in half an hour. Please wait a short while. After saying this, she withdrew. Soon, two women brought tea, fruit, and pastries into the private room. The ninth princess glanced at them. Leave. The two women bowed lightly and withdrew. Only the ninth princess and Xuan remained in the room. Xuan looked at her. Ninth princess, we, Jiang. The ninth princess suddenly spoke. You may also call me Little Jew like Little N does. Little Jew, Xuan nodded lightly. He did not think much of it and immediately said, Little Jew. We obtained a high-grade Earth-rank martial technique in the Sword Lord's cave residence. Are those great figures above truly willing to watch that martial technique fall into our hands? Jiang glanced at him. You are too naive. Xuan, Jiang said calmly, those great figures spent a tremendous amount of effort opening the Sword Lord's cave residence. Do you think they gain nothing? You should know that the location of the Sword Lord's cave residence at Two Realms Mountain no longer belongs to Jiang Kingdom. Why? Xuan did not understand. Jiang said in a deep voice, why did that Sword Lord choose to open his cave residence in that place? Because there is a natural spirit vein there. Where there is a spirit vein, there will certainly be spirit ore. That spirit vein is a priceless treasure. If it can be mined, it will be worth far more than this earth-rank martial technique. The people above allowed the younger generation of the great forces to enter and search for treasures because they were eating the meat, and letting those below drink some soup. That way, everyone is satisfied. After saying this, she pondered briefly, then continued. Logically speaking, that spirit ore mine lies within Jiang Kingdom's borders, so it should belong to us. But even if they gave it to Jiang Kingdom, we would not dare accept it. The old man was quite clever. He decisively handed that land over, then exchanged it for one qualification to participate in the treasure hunt. In truth, that was already quite good. Xuan shook his head and laughed. As expected, everything was just as he had guessed. It was not as simple as it appeared on the surface. At this time, Jiang said again, in this world, some struggles take place openly where everyone can see them. But some struggles take place only in the dark. No one can see them, yet they may be the cruelest struggles of all, just like this time. Perhaps you do not know this, but it was not only 3 Nether Passage Realm experts who died when the Sword Lord's cave residence was opened. According to the intelligence I have, at least 10 Nether Passage Realm experts fell this time. Even stronger experts showed themselves. As she spoke, she seemed to think of something and looked at Xuan again. You are in Canglan Academy now. Do not think that because the place seems almost ready to close down, it is truly finished. That old man of yours is not a simple person. As long as he is alive, Canglan Academy will not close. And this time by finding the few of you. Clearly, after remaining silent for so many years, he is going to act, but that is normal. Back then, it could be said that the students of Canglan Academy were slaughtered by the students of Cangmu Academy until almost none remained. Even his 2 sons and grandson died miserably in that affair. Xuan glanced at Jiang. Why are you telling me so much? Jiang pondered for a moment. Because I do not want you to become a sacrifice in the struggles between these forces. Xuan was about to speak when the transparent crystal wall in front of him suddenly lit up. The scene appearing on the crystal wall was a stage. On the stage stood a woman in a red dress with an extremely fine figure. She bowed lightly in all directions. Greetings, everyone. I am Zai King, the manager of Drunken Immortal Tower in Two Realms City. I will also be the host of tonight's auction. After saying this, she glanced around and smiled beautifully. Tonight, only 3 items will be auctioned. Though few in number, they will certainly not disappoint you. As soon as Zai King finished speaking, a woman walked onto the stage carrying an exquisite box. She placed the box on the round table before the woman in red, then withdrew. Zai King opened the box. Inside was a thumb-sized green pill. Seeing this pill, Jiang's expression changed slightly. Void-breaking pill. Xuan continued staring at the image on the crystal wall. On the stage, Zai King smiled and introduced it, Void-breaking pill. It gives an 80% chance for a cultivator to advance from the Imperial Kai realm to the Skysoar realm. This type of pill is extremely difficult to find within Jiang Kingdom's territory. The starting price is 1 million gold coins. Each bid must increase by no less than 200,000 gold coins. Inside the private room, when Xuan heard this number, both his hands trembled. 1 million gold coins. Xuan's eyes were full of disbelief. One had to know that back when he was in King City, the annual income of the entire city probably did not even reach 1 million gold coins. Yet now, one small pill had a starting price of 1 million gold coins. Since when had gold coins become so worthless? Beside him, Jiang said coldly, "This alone is enough to shock you." Xuan nodded lightly. "It really is shocking." Jiang shook her head and smiled faintly. "Do you know that most of the wealth in this world is usually held by a very small number of people? Put simply, the poor are very poor and the rich are very rich." Xuan touched the money pouch at his waist and shook his head. "I really am poor." The corner of the 9th princess's mouth curved into a beautiful smile. Before long, the pill was bought for 3,600,000 gold coins. 3,600,000, Xuan smiled bitterly. Truly, poverty has limited my imagination. At that moment, another woman walked onto the stage carrying a wooden box. Zai King opened the box. Inside was a short saber. Its blade was extremely thin and its hilt was glossy black. On it was carved the image of an unknown beast. On the stage, Zai King introduced it with a smile. This saber is called Startled Shadow. It is a top-grade spiritual weapon, among spiritual weapons. I dare not speak for other countries, but within Jiang Kingdom. This saber ranks second only to the golden saber of our 9th Highness. The starting price is 2 million gold coins. Each bid must increase by no less than 300,000, 2 million gold coins. Inside the room, Xuan stood frozen for a moment. Then he turned to look at Jiang. Jiang raised the teacup in front of her and took a light sip without saying anything. Xuan looked at the golden saber hidden at his waist and smiled bitterly. "Too precious." Jiang still said nothing. Xuan hesitated for a moment and said, "Thank you." Jiang turned to look at him. "If you try to return it again, I will beat you until you cannot take care of yourself." Xuan grinned, feeling quite happy in his heart. Jiang shook her head. "You fool." Before long, the saber on the stage was bought for 5 million gold coins. 5 million. When Xuan heard that price, he felt his heart beating extremely fast. 5 million. He could not help but look again at the golden saber at his waist. Should he sell it? As if reading his thoughts, Jiang said, "If you dare sell it, I will cut off a certain part of your body and send you into the palace as a eunuch." Xuan, at that moment on the stage, Zai King swept her gaze around and smiled. "Everyone, next is the most interesting item." As soon as Zai King finished speaking, a woman carried an iron black box onto the stage. Zai King opened the box. Inside was a black scroll. Zai King smiled and said, high-grade Earth-rank martial technique, Nirvana Finger. This is a genuine high-grade Earth-rank martial technique. If a Skysoar realm expert cultivates it, they can rely on this martial technique to easily contend with a Nether Passage realm expert. If a Nether Passage realm expert cultivates it, while I dare not say they will be invincible among their peers, there will be few qualified to be their opponent. And if an expert above the Nether Passage realm cultivates it, with this martial technique at their side, their strength will increase by at least 40%. After saying this, she swept her eyes across the surroundings again. I will not say more. The starting price for this martial technique is 15 million gold coins. Each bid must increase by no less than 2 million, 20 million. As soon as Zai King finished speaking, someone made a bid. Inside the room, Xuan froze completely when he heard the price. 20 million, good heavens, 20 million. No, someone had already raised it to 30 million. Jiang glanced at the excited Xuan beside her and said softly, now you know just how terrifyingly valuable the thing you threw to me really was. Xuan turned to look at Jiang, grinned, then raised the golden saber in his hand. No matter how precious it is, it cannot compare to the friendship between us, right? He was not lying. In his heart, whether it was friendship or family affection, neither could be measured with money. Liar. Jiang withdrew her gaze, but the corner of her mouth curved slightly. At this time, the bid in the hall had already reached 46 million. Just then, a discordant voice suddenly echoed through every corner of Drunken Immortal Tower. 1 gold coin. I want this martial technique. Inside the private room, several afterimages suddenly appeared behind Jiang and Xuan like ghosts. Their expressions were all extremely guarded. Jiang frowned. Someone truly dares come to Drunken Immortal Tower to cause trouble. At that moment, a voice suddenly rang inside Xuan's mind. Run, run. These words came from the mysterious woman who had not appeared in a long time. Xuan chose to trust her without the slightest hesitation. After a moment of shock, he grabbed Jiang and turned to run. Seeing Xuan pull Jiang away, her guards were stunned. But immediately they instinctively blocked his path. Xuan looked at Jiang. Jiang looked at them and ordered retreat. As soon as she gave the order, the entire group immediately withdrew from Drunken Immortal Tower at extreme speed. At the very moment they left Drunken Immortal Tower, a vast power suddenly descended from above its roof. Boom. In an instant, Drunken Immortal Tower exploded. Several figures rushed out from within amid screams of pain. Seeing this, Xuan, Jiang, and the others quickly retreated again and again. Both of their gazes were extremely grave. At that moment, a black-clothed person suddenly flashed out from the ruins of Drunken Immortal Tower. In that person's hand was the high-grade Earth-rank martial technique. Just as the black-clothed figure was about to leave, an enraged shout suddenly rang out from afar. How dare you? The moment the shout fell, an invisible pressure suddenly descended from the sky onto the black-clothed person. At that instant, the black-clothed person opened their right hand. A bolt of lightning suddenly shot out from their palm. Boom. The entire sky rang with a deafening explosion. Then the lightning flashed, illuminating the night sky until it was as bright as day. Divine Union Realm. At this moment, an old man appeared before the black-clothed person. He stared at the figure. Who are you? Why have you trespassed against my Drunken Immortal Tower? Drunken Immortal Tower, Hess. The black-clothed person suddenly laughed. Is that supposed to be impressive? The voice was strange. Clearly, the person was using a false voice to conceal their identity. The old man was about to speak when the black-clothed person raised their right hand and pressed downward. Boom. A bolt of lightning descended upon the old man's head. The old man's expression changed. His two hands thrust forcefully toward the sky, and a surge of power shot out from his palms. But the moment it touched the lightning, it shattered, immediately after boom. The old man fell heavily from the sky, his body sinking deep into the ground. In the air, the black-clothed person did not continue attacking. Their figure flickered, then shot into the distance and quickly disappeared into the night. On the ground, the old man crawled out of the rubble and stared toward the horizon. His right hand crushed a thumb-sized stone. The stone trembled slightly, then turned into a wisp of white smoke and vanished into the air. Clearly, he was calling for help. Before long, sounds of battle came from the distant sky. Obviously, the experts of Drunken Immortal Tower had arrived. A woman slowly walked before Xuan and the 9th princess. She was Zai King, the host from the auction. Zai King bowed to the 9th princess. 9th Highness, my apologies. Drunken Immortal Tower will retrieve the item. Please give us a little time. The 9th princess glanced toward the sky, then nodded lightly. In 5 days, I will come to Drunken Immortal Tower. After saying this, she and Xuan turned and left. They had only walked a short distance when the mysterious woman's voice suddenly sounded again in Xuan's mind. Follow, follow, Xuan froze. Hurry, her voice rang out again. That person had the aura of a Dao rule, the aura of a Dao rule. Xuan's heart trembled. Senior, why did you not say so earlier? Would it not have been better if I chased after that person immediately? The mysterious woman said calmly, if you had chased after that person the moment they fled, were you planning to die? Xuan, what is wrong? Jiang Ju asked beside him. Xuan stopped thinking about anything else and turned to Jiang Ju. I have something urgent to do, you go back first. After saying this, he turned and ran. Jiang Ju frowned. After a moment of silence, she looked at the old man beside her. Follow him. Do not let anything unexpected happen to him. The old man nodded lightly. His figure flickered and vanished. But not long after, the old man returned to Jiang Ju's side. His expression was rather awkward. Your Highness, I lost him. Jiang Ju, who had closed her eyes, opened them. How is that possible? The old man said in a deep voice, I do not know. I could not sense his aura at all. It was as if he had vanished from the world. Hearing this, Jiang Ju looked into the distance for a while. Then she murmured, that boy is very mysterious. Outside Two Realms City, Xuan flew forward at full speed. Before long, he had entered the vast, deep mountains. The moment he entered the mountain depths, he heard sounds of battle coming from far ahead. Stop. The mysterious woman's voice sounded again. Xuan hurriedly stopped. Senior. The mysterious woman said, wait until they finish fighting. Xuan found a hidden place and sat down. Then he asked in a deep voice, Senior, what exactly is a Dao rule? You will know later, the mysterious woman replied. Xuan nodded lightly, then said, Senior, the one on the 2nd floor has awakened. I know, the mysterious woman said. Xuan hurriedly asked, can you beat it until it stops? Smack. Xuan flew straight away for several dozen zhang, smashing through 2 trees along the way. When he stood up, there was another pink footprint on his right cheek. The mysterious woman suddenly said, you really do enjoy being beaten. Xuan. The mysterious woman continued, for now, do not concern yourself with the one on the 2nd floor. Your most urgent task is to obtain the Dao rule as soon as possible. That tower was damaged too heavily in the past. Without a Dao rule, I fear a major problem will occur. Xuan rubbed his right cheek and nodded lightly. I understand. It is just that the one on the 2nd floor, do not worry, it does not dare kill you. The mysterious woman explained, right now, you are the master of the tower. Once you die, the entire tower will become masterless. At that time, it will have to face the tower itself. Although the tower has no Dao rules, its instinctive resistance is still not something that thing can withstand. But with you here, the tower will not rebel. So before it can get out, it will not let you die. Xuan did not know what to say. With him here, the tower posed no threat. What kind of nonsense was this? Boom. At that moment, a world-shaking explosion suddenly rang out from the distant mountains. Immediately after, countless bolts of lightning twisted and scattered across the sky like silver snakes. Seeing this, Xuan narrowed his eyes. Senior, that person is too strong. If I keep chasing like this, will my life be in danger? The mysterious woman said calmly, fortune is found within danger. Xuan. Explosions continued to sound from the distant sky. Not only that, Xuan discovered that even the trees around him had begun to tremble. What level of expert was this? Xuan's expression became extremely grave. At that moment, the distant sky suddenly became quiet. The mysterious woman's voice rang out again, chase. Xuan rushed forward without hesitation. The farther he went, the more shocked he became. Countless trees along the way had been turned pitch black. Not only that, the ground itself had been torn apart as if it had just suffered an earthquake. Seeing this, Xuan felt somewhat uneasy. Without question, his strength absolutely could not match that black-clothed person. "With me here, what are you panicking for?" the mysterious woman suddenly said. Hearing this, Xuan immediately spoke with great seriousness. "With those words from Senior, even if you told me to challenge all of Drunken Immortal Tower by myself, I would not panic." After saying this, he accelerated and ran even faster. Before long, he arrived at a small slope. The other side of the slope had been smashed apart. From time to time, streaks of electricity still writhed across the ground. Xuan asked in a deep voice, why would someone that powerful still want to steal an Earth-rank martial technique? The mysterious woman replied, only in that person's hands can the martial technique display its true power. And once that person obtains it, their strength can increase by at least 30 to 40%. She paused briefly, then continued, turn right. A few hundred zhang from here, there is a waterfall. Hearing this, Xuan quickly ran to the right. Before long, he arrived at a waterfall. When he got there, Xuan froze. This was precisely the waterfall where he and Jiang had hidden not long ago. Xuan walked to the small hollow behind the waterfall. Sure enough, someone was lying there. It was the black-clothed person. Xuan asked in a deep voice, Senior, is the Tao rule on this person? No, the mysterious woman said, Xuan. The mysterious woman continued, this person carries the aura of a Tao rule. In other words, this person has definitely come into contact with some small aspect of a Tao rule. Xuan said in a deep voice, right now this person seems unconscious. Should we wait until they wake up before talking? No, that will not do. Once this person wakes up, I will probably be beaten to death. The mysterious woman suddenly said, the person in front of you is not unconscious. Xuan. At that moment, a terrifying pressure suddenly enveloped Xuan. His entire body felt as if a mountain were crushing it. He could not move at all. Xuan hurriedly called out, Senior, hurry and act. But the mysterious woman said nothing. Xuan's face turned pale, Senior, do not trick me. The mysterious woman still did not respond. At that moment, the black-clothed person suddenly appeared before Xuan. The person had removed their mask, and the black robe they wore was already torn to pieces. Because of that, Xuan finally saw their appearance clearly. When he saw the person's face, Xuan froze, a woman. The black-clothed person before him was actually a woman. And she was an extremely beautiful woman. Her eyes were large and round, calm and cold. Her face was rosy like polished jade, enough to make people lose themselves in thought. Her features were perfectly harmonious, beautiful to a degree that was hard to describe, especially her figure. It was truly striking, yet not disproportionate, because her body was slender and graceful. This was the kind of woman who could make a man's blood boil with a single glance. But right now, Xuan's blood could not boil at all. He only felt cold all over. The woman stared at Xuan, who are you? Xuan thought for a moment, then asked, can we pretend I never came here? The woman looked at Xuan for a long while. As time passed, her expression gradually became more solemn. Because Xuan was right before her eyes, yet she could not sense his aura. Clearly, this was due to the mysterious woman. At that moment, the woman suddenly turned her head and looked outside the waterfall. An old man had just landed on a tree in the distance. The woman's expression changed. In an instant, she rushed in front of Xuan and pressed herself tightly against him. Xuan's entire body froze on the spot. Outside, the old man swept his gaze around. He glanced toward the waterfall, used his divine sense to scan the area around it, then turned and disappeared into the distance. Inside the small hollow, the woman looked at Xuan, who was only inches away. Carry me into the water. Her voice carried a trace of killing intent. Xuan remained silent, but in his heart he wailed, Senior, save me. The mysterious woman did not answer. Late at night, pale moonlight slanted across the ground, casting a thin silver glow. Xuan sat cross-legged in the small hollow behind the waterfall, facing the black-clothed woman. The space inside the hollow was very narrow, so the two of them were extremely close. So close that he could smell the faint fragrance coming from the woman. The problem was that he had no mood to appreciate it. He only wanted to flee as far away as possible. Unfortunately, he had no chance. Although the woman was seriously injured, he was still no match for her. He could only endure and look for another opportunity. As for the mysterious woman, he no longer held much hope. At that moment, the black-clothed woman suddenly stood. "Carry me." Xuan glanced down at her legs and only then discovered that a pool of blood had gathered beneath her. He immediately realized that she was heavily injured there. A thought suddenly appeared in his mind: "You want to run." The black-clothed woman's lips curved. "Try it." Xuan glanced sideways at her. In the end, considering the difference in realm between them, he decided not to run. The gap in realm was something nothing else could easily make up for. Seeing him turn his back, the black-clothed woman leaned onto him without the slightest hesitation. So big. That was Xuan's first feeling. In the past, he had only seen a woman's curves with his eyes. Now that he was actually in contact with them, he discovered they were even more astonishing than he had imagined. His second feeling was soft. Soft and warm, enough to make him think of the words warm jade and fragrant softness. He did not dare think too much. He quickly carried the woman, jumped out from beneath the waterfall and ran according to her directions. The black-clothed woman watched the young man carrying her with an indifferent gaze, though there was also some doubt in her eyes. She still did not understand why she could not sense Xuan's aura, even though he was right before her. Especially when her realm was several levels above his. That was a gap that could not be bridged. Yet even so, she still could not sense Xuan's existence. Xuan himself did not know that this unanswered question was the reason the black-clothed woman had not killed him yet. As for the mysterious woman who had made all kinds of promises, she had failed to appear at the critical moment. Now his life was completely in the hands of this black-clothed woman. He was angry. But angry or not, he still did not dare say anything to provoke this great figure. Just like that, Xuan carried the black-clothed woman toward the border of Ning Kingdom. He knew a little about Ning Kingdoms. It and Tang Kingdom were both countries near Jiang Kingdom. At present, Jiang and Tang were constantly clashing, while Ning Kingdom did not side with either. It was like a fisherman watching the clam and snipe fight. Part of the reason Tang Kingdom and Jiang Kingdom had not officially gone to war was because they were wary of Ning Kingdom. As long as Ning Kingdom remained, the other two countries did not dare launch a war lightly. About half an hour later, the woman said, "Stop." The moment Xuan stopped, he heard the sound of rushing wind and sensed two waves of pressure appearing overhead. He was no match for either one of them. While his face turned grim, the black-clothed woman only sneered. "Very good, Drunken Immortal Tower. I did not expect two Divine Union Realm experts to appear." Xuan asked in a low voice, "Senior, how about we surrender?" With the purple card in his possession, surrendering should not be too much of a problem. Surrender. The black-clothed woman laughed because of his words. "Hand over our heads as surrender, Xuan." She patted his head lightly. "Keep going." Xuan had no choice but to continue running forward. As he ran, his body inevitably rubbed against the woman's. The strange feeling coming from his back made him feel extremely comfortable. But he did not dare think too much. After all, the person on his back was far stronger than him. After an entire night, Xuan and the black-clothed woman had left Two Realms Mountain. They were now less than a day away from the border of Ning Kingdom. When they passed by a riverbank, the woman suddenly said, "Stop." Xuan obeyed. The woman pointed to the opposite shore. "Carry me across." Xuan did as she said. After crossing the river, he set her down on a rock near the bank, then moved to the side. His eyes darted around. "You want to escape?" The black-clothed woman glanced at him. "Within 50 zhang, I can knock you down whenever I please. If you do not believe me, try." Xuan remained silent on the outside, but in his heart he groaned. "Senior, can you bear to watch her bully me like this? Come out and beat her." The mysterious woman remained silent. Xuan was in despair. The black-clothed woman said again, "Come here." Xuan looked at her and thought for a while before walking over. After I deliver you to Ning Kingdom, you will kill me to silence me, correct? Surprise appeared in the woman's eyes. Clearly, she had not expected Xuan to say such a thing. Xuan looked straight at her. You will absolutely not allow others to know that you stole something from Drunken Immortal Tower. So the day I deliver you to Ning Kingdom will also be the day of my death. Am I right? Chapter 130, set everything aside until later, I underestimated your mind. The black-clothed woman smiled, then dipped her bare feet into the river, letting the water wash away the blood. You can choose to die now, or you can wait a little while longer before you die. Xuan laughed loudly. I still have a third choice. Seeing her turn to look at him, he said in a cold voice, trade life for life. These words made the woman's lips curve. You think too highly of yourself. Xuan opened his palm. The Lanxiu sword appeared, the woman's eyes narrowed, a bright sword. The Lanxiu sword trembled violently. Xuan did not avoid her gaze. I am definitely not your opponent. But as long as I draw my sword and create even the slightest disturbance, the experts of Drunken Immortal Tower will immediately rush over. At that time, without my aura to hide you, you will not be able to escape. It is fine if you die, but Drunken Immortal Tower definitely will not let the force behind you go either. Am I wrong? The black-clothed woman smiled. Perhaps you will not even have the chance to draw your sword. We will only know if we try. As he spoke, killing intent surged wildly in Xuan's eyes. He was preparing to use one sword decides life and death. The mysterious woman had once taught him that if he wanted to survive, he could only rely on himself. Placing hope in others was a foolish idea, and Xuan was not bluffing. If he said he would risk his life, then he would truly risk his life. Since death was already certain, why not drag someone down with him? Seeing that Xuan truly intended to attack, the black-clothed woman narrowed her eyes. Stop. Xuan did not attack, but the Lanxiu sword continued trembling. Clearly it was still ready. The woman stared at him. I underestimated your courage. Xuan said in a low voice, I only want to live. The woman's lips curved. If I remember correctly, you were the one who came looking for me. Although I do not know how you did it, you certainly did not come here to save me, correct? Xuan thought for a moment. I will not hide it anymore. I came to find you because I wanted to ask something. The woman looked curious. Tell me. Ask her where she sensed the power of the earth. At that moment, the mysterious woman's voice sounded beside Xuan's ear. Xuan immediately said, Where did you sense the power of the earth? When the black-clothed woman heard this, she abruptly turned and stared at him in disbelief. How do you know about that? Xuan answered calmly, I guessed. The look in her eyes grew even more thoughtful, as though she wanted to see through him completely. Xuan did not back down. He looked straight back at her. After a moment she asked, Who exactly are you? Xuan shook his head, Let us speak plainly. I will bring you to Ning Kingdoms. After that you are not allowed to kill me, and you must tell me where you sense the power of the earth. The black-clothed woman fell silent for a while, then nodded. Fine. Xuan thought about it again, then said, To be honest, I do not trust you very much. Can you swear an oath? The corner of the woman's mouth curved, then draw your sword now. But let me remind you of one thing. If Drunken Immortal Tower catches us, I may not necessarily die, but you will definitely die. Xuan took one step back. You must swear that you will not kill me, cripple me, imprison me, or harm me in any way. Otherwise, today we trade life for life. As he spoke, the Lanxiu sword in his hand trembled with excitement. Sword light flashed at the tip of the blade. With only a thought from him, the sound of the sword would ring across the sky. The black-clothed woman's eyes turned cold. You have thought this through quite carefully. Xuan did not yield. If you do not swear, then today we trade life for life. The black-clothed woman stared at him in silence for a long time. At that moment, the sword in Xuan's hand shook again, and sword light was about to burst out. The woman hurriedly said, Fine, I swear. You bring me to Ning Kingdom, and after that I will not kill you, strike you, or imprison you. If I violate this oath, my heart demon will devour me. Hearing this, Xuan finally felt his heart settle. After all, who would not want to live? He did not want both sides to perish together either. He put away the Lanxiu sword and walked in front of her. Get on, we leave immediately. A strange smile appeared on the black-clothed woman's face. The moment she settled onto his back, Xuan rushed forward in a hurry. He only wanted to bring her to Ning Kingdom as quickly as possible, then continue searching for the Dao rule. With the mysterious woman helping him conceal his aura, the experts of Drunken Immortal Tower did not discover them. By the following evening, the two of them finally reached the border of Jiang Kingdom. Xuan set the woman down in the middle of a dense forest and retreated. "We are here." Seeing the woman staring at him, his scalp tingled. "You are not going to break your oath, are you?" "Why would I?" The woman smiled. "I do not wish to face a heart demon in the future, but..." When Xuan heard that final word, his heart immediately sank. Not good, he instantly turned and ran. But the black-clothed woman had already appeared in front of him like a ghost. She reached out and grabbed his throat. Facing his wide eyes, she smiled, "Do not worry. I will not kill you, strike you, or imprison you, but..." A red pill shot from her finger and slipped directly into Xuan's throat. After that, she leapt back a distance, a strange smile hanging on her lips. Xuan glared at her. "What did you make me eat?" "You will know soon," she said with a smile. Almost immediately, Xuan's face turned crimson. His entire body grew burning hot, as though fire were scorching him from within. The black-clothed woman stood in the distance with a charming smile. "This is Ning Kingdom's famous golden spear, Never Falls pill. It is said that it can keep a man hard for an entire night. You are quite blessed." Then she made a frightened expression. "Oh dear, I nearly forgot. This is a deep mountain forest. Where would you find a woman here?" Although there are no people in this forest, there are many wild beasts. Ha ha ha." After saying this, she turned to leave. But after taking a few steps, she seemed to remember something and looked back. "I did not kill you, strike you, or imprison you, understand?" Just as she was about to spring away again, the world prison tower inside Xuan suddenly trembled. Two streaks of sword light shot out like lightning. The black-clothed woman seemed to sense them and abruptly turned around. When she saw the two streaks of sword light approaching, her expression changed. She hurriedly clapped her hands, summoning countless bolts of lightning that interwove into a net. But the two streaks of sword light tore straight through the lightning net. One after another, they shot forward and pinned her firmly to a nearby tree. They sealed her meridians, making it impossible for her to use the profound energy inside her body. At that moment, Xuan had already pounced forward. His eyes were blood red, and his entire body was burning hot like a beast driven mad by desire. The black-clothed woman's expression changed when she saw him. Her eyes widened and she shouted through gritted teeth, "If you dare touch me, this king will exterminate your 9 clans." Xuan did not care at all. In his fevered state, he tore forward wildly. At last, fear appeared on the black-clothed woman's face. "Do not act recklessly, otherwise this king..." Xuan reached out and covered her mouth, roaring, "Set everything aside until later." The moment his words fell, he pulled her into his arms.